Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike, and with me, as always, is my friend Andrew. And this week, we're going to be reviewing Week 7, having a look towards Week 8, settling up on some bets. And it is Wednesday night, October 23rd. It's getting dark up here in the Great White North. Thanksgiving is past us, at least Canadian Thanksgiving. Halloween's ahead of us, and it's starting to get cold. How are you doing?
Trying to stay warm. And
Yeah.
yes, it's getting lighter in the mornings a lot later as well. So we're into
Yeah.
that time of year where we only get about 7 hours of daylight.
Where you drive to work in the dark, and you come home in the dark, where if you want to see the sunrise or sunset, you got to take an early coffee break or a late coffee break to see the sun. Like to see the sunrise, you take an early coffee break to go outside and watch it come up because you're already at work.
Yeah.
It's great. And we haven't had the time change yet.
Oh, that messes people up too, where it's
Yeah.
you're
I would
driving to
love to.
work you're driving to work in the dark and then for another 2 weeks you're driving to work in the daylight again.
Yeah, it's really unsettling. I really dislike it. I wish we would abandon it altogether.
To me, I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me.
All right. Well, in football related news, Netflix released a show called The Untold Story: Sign Stealer about Connor Stallions and the University of Michigan drama that happened last year regarding him stealing signs from other teams. And I found it absolutely fascinating watching it because I saw it from through the lens of as a Michigan Wolverines fan and what was posted in the media. And what was posted in the media wasn't always factual. It was conjecture, it was opinion, it was emotional responses to what was happening. And
And
what was
they were on a witch hunt the whole time.
they weren't on a witch hunt. They were looking to destroy something because some other people got their nose bit on a joint because they were doing it better than them. So in this untold story, it essentially explains how Connor Stallions just did it better than the other teams, but showed how the other teams are doing it or were doing it. There's
Yes.
actually a collective of people who share this information back and forth. Like, I'll trade you Ohio State stuff if you give me Notre Dame's. And they exchange and share this information. And what's even funnier still is when he was removed and no longer had influence, the team kept winning. So there's a lot of people who were asking for them to have a asterisk put by their win, but I don't think that's fair or accurate. I also think it's absolutely ridiculous that the single caveat that could get him into trouble, which was the concern, is not that he watched or stole signs. It's that he could have gone to a game and filmed with his phone instead of paying or getting officially asking to request for the footage to watch. And I'm like, what's the difference? What is the difference from somebody attending a game and filming it themselves, or watching it on TV, or calling the university itself and asking them for their footage because that's what they're going to ask you for and you're just going to exchange. And I guess it came down to the amount of time you have access to that footage. How quickly can you analyze that information? Because if you have a few days, it might not be as easy if you had several weeks. So if you're constantly going to Ohio State games, you're going to break their system down very quickly. And that was like the weird caveat. But all of the other methods were perfectly legal and legit. Yeah, it was wild. More than likely, he crossed the line, but I don't think any of it was inappropriate or overly affecting the outcome of sports. Now the NCAA has a Connor Stallions rule where they do the same thing the NFL does. They have a radio inside a headset. So no more calling signs from the sideline. You now have a radio that calls it in.
Well, and they weren't doing anything that any other team wasn't.
That's just it.
That's the that's the garbage part of
Mm-hmm.
it. And it's not that. That's why I called it a witch hunt.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody in the NCAA wanted the Big Ten to be a national champion. They all wanted the SEC, Alabama, Georgia,
Yeah.
one of those teams. It's blatantly obvious everywhere in the NCAA that is the only conference that matters. You see it in the pregame shows. You see it in the commentating, even in the Michigan games as they're talking. Trying to be a homer team. They're still talking about Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee and all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody is on that bandwagon as those are the greatest teams. There's you look at this year. Well, this is a little bit of an anomaly because the Big Ten hasn't had the greatest win-loss record this year. But
Right.
in years past, you've had out of the 12 teams, you had 6 in the top 20. But everyone was such a hater of the Big Ten, especially Ohio State and Michigan, and they just wanted to lynch Harbaugh.
Yes, they did.
They brought him up on investigation twice in one season.
They
And that's
removed him
garbage.
from they suspended him for those 3 games at the end of the season that were pivotal.
And the
Yeah.
beginning of the season, he missed games because of investigation stuff. So it's like to me, they just had it out for Harbaugh. They wanted him out of college football again because he didn't maybe follow the beat of their drum. And I honestly, I don't think the NCAA wanted a Big Ten team to be a national champion. They wanted Georgia to repeat.
I can see that, except it's a weird way of making it work. Right now, Michigan isn't even ranked.
No, they're not
in the top 25.
And I think that's just
They had 2 losses.
no. They've got 3 now, 3 or 4 now. But because
Shows
they
how much
lost to, they
Oh,
lost.
that's
last
right. They lost the
weekend.
weekend. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But it's that team is kind of imploding. I think Jerome Moore isn't going to make it through the year. I don't think he's going to be the scapegoat, even though it's the team he didn't
No,
get to build.
I don't think he'll be the scapegoat. I think they'll let him ride it out. The team hasn't had the greatest quarterback play.
No, they don't. They have the worst.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm looking at this the standings right now. Bama is 16 at 5 or 15, ranked 15th. So they've fallen quite a bit with their second loss.
Yep.
Ole Miss is at 5-2. It's still ranked. Vanderbilt is 5-2. Oregon's sitting at number 1. Like the NCAA is just I think a terrible organization, and there'll probably be some more changes coming to college football in the near future.
Yeah,
hopefully for the better. Yeah.
There has to be. But one of the biggest things, the biggest mistakes that I think the NCAA made was letting these kids make money. I don't think the NCAA should have been able to make money off of their likenesses and off of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But letting these kids make millions of dollars, now they don't care about the NFL. They don't care about
as much.
They don't care about the proper development. They're there to make. They're there to. They will bust their ass till they get into high school, and get into a good college where they're going to be recognized and play for a Deion Sanders or somebody famous who's going to get them face time and make them money. And they're not going to really give a crap about the development and it's about all the money they're going to make now.
I actually have a different opinion regarding the name, image, and likeness deals. I dislike it. I agree with you there. I dislike that these kids can get paid purely from the fact that it's going to separate schools that have money and schools that don't.
What I think they should be doing is every single set should be pooled and be divided amongst every single player in the
Yeah,
it's the offensive guard who's third string should get the same money as the top quarterback in the league. Make it even for everybody. Because that money is supposed to go to players to help them through their financial burden.
Yeah, covering the cool expenses. Yeah.
Yeah, you're covering your school costs. You're covering your living costs. Your rent and all that kind of stuff. It should be just divided amongst everybody, and kind of like in a restaurant, right? Waitresses get tips. They got to pay out the cook. They got to pay out the busboys. They got to pay out everybody else. And it's not even in a restaurant.
I hate that rule. I hate that rule. I don't think that's a fair rule, because that waitress could do all the best work, and then still got to pay out the other guys that do like whatever. But that's a different industry issues. The name, image, and likeness if you start separating schools that have and schools that have not, you then really create power groups of schools. And then it doesn't become a fair and equitable system. And who's going to want to watch that? It's not nearly as good. I sent you that video from the Oklahoma State University coach talking about changes that need to happen in college sports and how there needs to be like an overseeing director, and we need to take more of an NFL approach. But we need caps on how much money schools can take in, how they divide that money up in a tier-based system. You can't have boosters showing up and saying, I'll pay $3 million to get this kid to transfer from that school to our school to be our quarterback. I do think it gives an opportunity for these kids to stick around in college longer and develop, instead of having just one successful year because they only played 1 year because they sat behind other guys. Instead of just getting 1 year of playing time, they might actually get a couple years under their belt. So when they transition to the NFL, we're not getting some hot garbage first round pick that's absolutely trash.
Yeah. Somebody that had, like you said, played on played in like Notre Dame, who's in probably the weakest division, destroys everybody in his conference, and comes to the NFL and is a bust because really he wasn't that great to be. If he wasn't in play, he gets any good competition. But okay, so maybe not divided amongst all of the players, divided amongst all of the teams, and make it even. It can't be like you said. Like I said, you said you're going to have the New York Yankees of college football, and then you're going to have, the Detroit Tigers who have no money.
The $25 million roster versus the $250 million roster.
And how is that fair? And that's kind of the way it is now, like with Georgia and Alabama and the rest of them.
Yeah.
So taking some of that nil money, or taking that nil money, bundling it all together, or even, the TV rights, divide amongst evenly. Don't give, just because Alabama's being shown, twice a week, they're that great. It's not fair.
Yeah, I'd love to see some changes. I think the NCAA has made some positive changes with expanding the playoff brackets, right? So now we're going to see 12 teams, allowing no more selling spots or buying spots 10 years down the road for out of division games. Your schedules are going to be a bit tighter. You're going to be playing power ranked teams more often, which I do like. So it might be a slow change, but I think there's change coming.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk real football news, because there is a ton of it.
Yes.
I'm going to rattle this off, and then we'll circle back and talk about anything that comes up. But I just need to get through all of it first. First things first, Saints running back Alvin Kamara got a 2-year extension worth $24.5 million. Congrats. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles and will be replaced by Jameis Winston. Bucs wide receiver Mike Evans is out until at least week 12 after their bye week with a hamstring injury. Bucs wide receiver Chris Godwin dislocated his ankle, had surgery, and he is done for the season. Rams have designated wide receiver Puka Nacua to return from IR, while trade rumors for Cooper Kupp have been heating up. I guess there was a deal on the table with the Chiefs. The deal was you take on his full contract, or you give us a second and we'll eat most of that contract. And instead, the Chiefs went out and traded for DeAndre Hopkins of the Tennessee Titans. I wonder if there's anything left in the tank for Mr. DeAndre Hopkins. Then we've got Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams will be serving a 2-game suspension for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substances. Great. Raiders QB Aiden O'Connell broke his thumb and was placed on IR. That means Gardner Minshew's back in the starting spot. 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel suffering from pneumonia and is questionable this week. Wide receivers Brandon Ayuk tore his ACL and MCL and is out for the season. That was a tough hit.
Deebo is also suffering from a wrist injury.
Oh, okay. Seahawks wide receiver Dickie Metcalf suffered a grade 1 MCL and is considered week to week. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels has a rib injury, is considered week to week. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is planning to return this week. He did practice today, and he will not be wearing the giant dome helmet. Chiefs wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster has a hamstring injury and has already been ruled out for week 8. Panthers quarterback Andy Dalton was in a car accident Not serious, though, but will not be playing this weekend. Bryce Young is going to get the start. Rumors are also running high that the Vikings are looking to trade Sam Darnold to the Rams in exchange for Matt Stafford. This works in a variety of ways, and it all depends on how Thursday night game goes. So, what do you want to talk about, if anything? Because that was a lot of injuries, unfortunately.
That is. I think the Godwin injury, if you actually saw the play,
I did not.
I don't know if he's ever coming back from that. That was like his foot was facing really the wrong way. It was nasty. It was a really nasty one. So I don't know that because of his age too, he's close to 30. If he's not even 30, if he's 30.
Yeah, I think he's 28, 29. Yeah.
That might be it for him.
Really? It was that bad?
It looked ugly. It looked like the Aiden Hutchinson almost. Because you see his leg going one way and his foot going the other, and just he's lying flat, and his foot is flat.
Oh, okay. I'm just reading up on a dislocated ankle. You will likely not be bearing any weight on it for 2 to 3 weeks, and you'll be in a removable boot for at least 6 weeks. Then after 6 weeks, you'll be able to start. Gradual return to sport will start from 12 weeks on, depending on swelling.
Yeah. If it's so bad that he actually needs surgery, it's going to be a tough one to come back from. That's almost as bad as an Achilles.
Okay, well, that sucks. That really does suck.
Yeah. And then the other one was when there was somebody in the minor game who was grabbing at his hamstring.
For the 49ers game?
Yeah, the 49er Chiefs game.
I don't know anybody in that game. The injuries from that game were Deebo Samuel started and then left because he was too sick.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk took a low body hit that busted his knee. It was terrible. I saw that one. That one was gross. I don't think it was a dirty hit, though.
No, I didn't think so either. Juju Smith-Schuster was.
He did have a hamstring injury. He got hurt.
But I didn't see his injury because that was before.
It was just he ran too hard.
Yeah. He's too old.
I think he's still younger than most of these receivers.
Yes.
But
he's old man like me.
Things that I find absolutely fascinating here is that the Chiefs went after DeAndre Hopkins.
They need something.
But DeAndre Hopkins, I would like to think.
What they're looking at is we need somebody for the next 12 weeks.
Get through this season.
I don't care about next year. My guys will heal up.
We will find somebody.
Or we will find somebody in the offseason. I need somebody who may have 12 weeks left in the tank.
Okay. Well, DeAndre Hopkins has got a lot of routes, but not a lot of targets and receptions. So,
but the thing is, though, his quarterback was just pathetic.
Oh, yeah. No, he played for a trash team. So I'm happy that he was able to get out. He shouldn't have went there in the first place.
And I'm sorry I had to decline the trade.
That's okay. I had to take a shot, man.
Somebody else offered me a trade on something today, and they offered me 2 guys that are out for the year. And I'm like, why would I give you that? Like, they wanted Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
And they were offering me 2 guys that were on IR. I'm like, why would I do that?
Why would you do that? Because if it's like,
say, more older as well.
Okay, well, I wouldn't take older guys, but let's just say like Nico Collins. If someone offered you Nico Collins, he's on IR for the year, but he's going to be back next year. That's a young talent who has a future. Like I would consider that.
Guys were like 23, 24 years old. I probably would consider. But these guys, I think, were like 28 and 29.
Okay.
And they weren't even like top tier, in my opinion, top tier players. Okay. They were okay, but
all right.
Yeah. So
all right. Well, that's the news around the football. Let's talk some league news and get to the sleeper report. Sleeper report. All right. So this week, week 7, it was good for some. Brutal for others. Let's get into that. Best manager of the week goes to Slick. Congratulations, Slick. You were 91% accurate on your roster. Good job. Now we're gonna get into the unfortunate part. I'm just looking for a specific sound clip here. Okay, so worst manager of the week was our friend Andrew here at 37%.
Cheers.
Yeah, 37%. You got beat up. Your team let you down, and it's not even the worst part yet. We'll get to that in a little bit here. Narrowest victory comes between Bryce and Donnie, 7.94 points. Super close. Congratulations, guys. A tough matchup. Highest scorer of the week. From the bottom to the top, it's not the first time he's been on this list. Little baby Sheepman with 162.64, breaking into the top 10 of all time. Congratulations,
He's
everybody.
everybody is clicking for him this year. Everybody,
Yeah.
and the sad thing is he hasn't made a ton of changes.
There we go. I realized I had the preview button on and not the live button. So
He
yeah.
didn't make a ton of changes from last year. It's just his
No.
team let him down last year.
Yeah.
And now they're starting to produce.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I am the exact opposite. My guys were still doing something last year, and now
they're not.
Now they like to just watch Taylor Swift in the booth.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, look. At least you got another Chief on your team, DeAndre Hopkins. Right there, you go.
Maybe I can get the stack going again.
The what?
The stack. Maybe I can get the stack going
Okay.
again.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes got to be better because right now, Trevor Lawrence is doing better than he is.
Yes,
and that's saying a lot.
More interceptions than he has touchdowns. So
yeah. So the lowest score of the week.
I don't know.
You took the Poor Man of the Week award, and you set a new league record, lowest score at 29.4. That you get the sploosh. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Well, 29.84.
If you look at my bench, guys, honestly, if you look at my bench from last week,
yeah,
I think I could have only gotten maybe another 30 points anyway. So it's not like I'm trying to tank.
No, you are not. You are trying.
I'm still playing my good guys. Don't somebody just please don't jump like, oh, Andrew's just throwing his season away. No, I'm not putting my trash in. I'm still trying.
You're still trying. I know you're still trying.
I don't want to be the, hey, Andrew's getting his team renamed. I'd like to be ninth.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who can I catch still? I can still catch Juan. I could probably still catch Bryce.
You know what?
Maybe I can even get 8.
No. Don't be ridiculous. Not happening. There's no other trades or anything that's happened in the league.
No.
Waivers ran, but did anything really get picked up on waivers this week? Let's have a look here. Cedric Tillman. That was a big pickup. Donnie spent 37 of his fab, picked him up. 4 bidders. Congratulations. I bid what I had left, which was $3. I couldn't get him. I wanted him. This kid could be a nice stash and hold. Trey Palmer was next on the list. 3 bidders on that one. $5 is what he went for. And then I picked up Jameis Winston for $1. Because why not?
Down to 2.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of money left. I've blown through a lot of fab. But that's okay. I'm a Deshaun Watson owner in a lot of places. So I went hard in getting Jameis Winston where I owned Deshaun Watson. And I happened to be a interesting situation in the Simple Man League. I have a solid team with no quarterback. My quarterbacks are Andy Dalton, Tua Tagovailoa, Will Levis, Derek Carr, and Deshaun Watson. So all of them are currently not scheduled to play this week. Were there any players left out there on the waiver wire? Not exactly. Gardner Minshew and Mason Rudolph. So I might have to go hard after one of those guys and see if I can pick him up.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Oddly enough, though, Andy Dalton got me 0.2 points, and I still won the week. So I'm feeling good, but I'm nervous as all heck because I still have a player that has, well, Tua supposedly is going to play. If he plays, then I've got a quarterback. If he doesn't play, then I'm in big, big trouble.
Yeah, because Dalton's not playing because of his thumb. or wrist or whatever.
Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah, he had hurt thumb based upon it. So like he's out. Derek Carr's still out. Jameis Winston, I own. I could start Jameis Winston, but who's he playing? Oh, Baltimore. Oh, that's a great team to come in and start with. Fantastic.
Watch them beat them though. That would be crazy.
I guess it's possible. I wouldn't hold my breath on that one.
No, I'm not either. But that would be crazy. Half their team is gone now.
Yeah, they've lost so many players, either through injury or hey, maybe Nick Chubb finally is back. He just needed 1 week to get used to the playing at the NFL, and now he's just going to run Ramshaw on everybody. Who knows? It's possible. Not likely though. All right. Anyways, matchup results. We only had one guy who did really well, and the rest of us all kind of were mediocre. So I won over Chervin. Everybody but Josh got it right. So congratulations, Gabriel, Donnie, Andrew, and myself. In matchup 2, Josh versus Juan. Josh won. I picked Juan, and so did Gabriel. So that means Josh, Donnie, and Andrew, you got it right. Congratulations. Point for you guys. Matchup 3 was Slick versus Andrew. Obviously, we all picked Slick, and Slick won. I don't think Slick had to do much, though, unfortunately. He could have gotten really bold.
He probably would have beat me with one player.
One quarterback. Matchup 4, Donnie versus Bryce. This was a split decision. Donnie did get the win, and Donnie was the only one who picked himself to win. So congratulations, Donnie. Well done. Well done. Last matchup was Little Baby Sheepman versus Marvin. Little Baby Sheepman came out on top. I got that one correct. Donnie got that one correct. Gabriel, Little Baby Sheepman himself, got that one correct. Andrew and Josh both got it wrong. So here's the standings. I went 3-2. Andrew, you went 3-2. Donnie went 5-0. Congratulations, Donnie. Josh went 2-3, and Gabriel went 3-2. So our standings as of right now, I'm sitting at 23-12. Andrew, you're at 21-14. Tied with the now Donnie with 21-14. Josh is 23-12, so I'm sharing the lead with him. Marvin's still sitting back there at 10-10. He hasn't jumped back into the race yet. And Gabriel went 3-2, sitting at 19-11. So interesting.
Close race.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. Now we're going to do a quick analysis of this week's matchups. Right now, it's me versus Slick. Now, Slick has been on a hot tear. Just to give you guys an idea, Slick is currently ranked number 3 in our league. I'm ranked number 5. So this is a very important matchup. If I beat Slick, then we'll be tied each at 5-3, and that'll really shuffle the board up quite a bit of who's in and who's out in the rankings. So very important. Let's have a look at what I got going on. Now, this week, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring that San Francisco is toast, and the Dallas Cowboys are coming off of the bye week with looking for a vengeful victory here. So I'm betting on Dak Prescott at QB. I want Alvin Kamara to play. However, I just learned today that he has a broken hand. But he's been playing through that broken hand. So I'm hoping, through all hope, that maybe he plays. If not, I'll have to pivot. James Conner against Miami. I like that one. Stephon Diggs against Indianapolis. I think this is a get-right game for him. Some good stuff. A.J. Brown versus Cincy. Oh, yeah, I love that matchup. I'm going to go Trey McBride in this one. He's getting lots of targets. David Montgomery, as long as his knee is good and he's expected to play. So he is practicing, which is good news. I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs. Feeling good about that selection. And then right now I've got Michael Pittman, although him and Josh Downs did miss practice today. And Anthony Richardson is scheduled to
be the starter?
To play. Yeah, to start. I don't like that one. But unfortunately, I'm going to be without Mike Evans, who I just traded for.
Sorry.
I'm definitely yeah, it's okay. It's not your fault. I'm deathly afraid of playing Cortland Sutton, who ran routes but didn't get any targets in his last game. And it's kind of a scary choice. Like, Mike Williams is not a startable asset anymore. Yeah, like I'm getting really thin. I need some guys to come back from IR. That'd be great. Anytime now.
I mean, if Kamara doesn't play, then Miller will probably get workload.
it's possible. So this is why it's important. I think you guys own the handcuffs. So I do own Kendra Miller. So I do have a pivot here that I could put in. On the opposite side, I
think Laporta could have a good game against Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
So you have an option there too.
My biggest concern is Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
I love Michael Pittman as a receiver. I just hate Anthony Richardson as a quarterback.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
Like I might have to put Sam Laporta in as a flex play.
Yeah. Well, I again see how the rest of the week goes for Camaro. I mean, if he's full practice tomorrow or even Friday,
yeah,
there's a good indication he's going to be.
I got time. All of my players play on Sunday, so I'm optimistic that at least I'll have time to try and figure it out.
Yeah. And then Slick is he's rocking Love, Hunt. It's crazy how Hunt is just rejuvenated again.
Oh, he has. Yeah, it's great for him.
Williams.
Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
Man, I'm hoping this guy's on fire. I hope that Minnesota defense can slow him down.
Well, it's
excuse me.
It is a tough matchup for him. A very tough matchup for him, especially because Minnesota losing last week might be looking for heads to roll. So it might be a really tough game. And then you got McLaurin versus Chicago. CeeDee Lamb. If Dallas does come back.
Yep. I at least I got the quarterback on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. I think his weakest spot is his tight end at Cade Otton.
Cade Otton is getting more targets, and now with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans out, it might be a boost to Cade Otton.
It might be.
Might be.
I was watching a blog this on Monday where guys kind of project who's going to be like the top players for the week. And they had Najee Harris in the top 5 of guys.
Really?
He's going against the Giants, so he could just rip through them.
I actually think that's an inaccurate statement. The Giants have one of the better run defenses, regardless of their team not being able to put up points. And Najee Harris has been sucking balls, pardon my language, all season long. And now he's in a 50-50 split with Jaylen Warren now that Jaylen Warren's back. So I am not afraid of Najee Harris.
Yeah, but let's see. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah.
He's got.
Yeah. He's got that nice Jaden Reed stack.
Yeah.
And then Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, that one's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough matchup.
I think that matchup's going to be low scoring. I think. And then what's he got on his bench? He's got Purdy, which I don't know that I would play against anybody this week, especially Dallas. So I think you're right. I think San Francisco is done for a few weeks until they can figure out their injuries and stuff.
Yeah, until CMC comes back and some guys get healthy.
What else has he got here? He's got Wilson, Johnson, Warren, Etienne,
Dontavian Wicks, Lad McConkey.
You know, if Miami gets the ship going in the right direction with Tua, Mostert could have a better game.
He could be a better start.
Strong, Burton, Olave. Olave's, did he practice today? He was just
limited.
Keenan Allen, Hicks, Tipton.
He's got options. At least he has options to pivot. Yeah.
I mean, at tight end, I'd almost go likely against Cleveland. But
really, I'd stick with Cade Otton. I think Cade Otton is actually a really solid start because of the 2 injuries to their primary receivers. Yeah.
I think you guys are in a tough matchup. But,
it's definitely tough.
I got to start catching up, so I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Slick.
Yeah, fair enough, man. That is absolutely fair. I'm going myself. Donnie picked me to win, but Gabriel, little baby sheep man, picked Slick. So no word from Josh or Marvin yet. Maybe if we get their, we'll get their updates here in probably the next day or two. Matchup number 2 we got is Andrew versus Juan.
Yes.
Now,
I'm really hoping Kansas City kind of starts to get the ball rolling for the second half of the year and has a big game against Vegas. Because that's another team that I think is just kind of falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
They still have a solid defensive line, but maybe Mahomes and Kelsey and what's his face, Hopkins can do some things. So I'm hoping they do better than what's projected.
Mm-hmm.
Hill, I'm hoping steals some carries away. I doubt it, but maybe if they get a big enough lead, maybe he'll see some playing time over Derrick Henry and maybe get a garbage touchdown or two. Even just one touchdown would be nice. I think Zach Moss needs to have a bounce back game because he's starting to get buried down the depth chart. Wilson,
yeah, Chase Brown seems to have taken that top spot.
He has. With Marvin Harrison, like last week when I was watching the Arizona game, Marvin Harrison just didn't seem right, and maybe his he passed the concussion protocol, but I don't know, he seemed off a little bit. So if there is still something going on with Marvin Harrison, maybe Wilson can steal some snaps. Robinson is the only guy on the Giants, in my opinion. Obviously, I got Kelsey. Vele, I threw in there today. I really don't know much about him, but 7 points.
Okay.
7-point projection seems like the team is starting to gel.
All right, so here's what I know about Devon Vele. Now, I traded him to you because he was a young talent that seems to be getting some traction in Denver.
Yeah.
Denver coach Sean Payton wants to go with the youth movement, so he's actually looking to Cortland Sutton before the trade deadline. Where, I have no idea. That would leave on the starting roster for this team would be Troy Franklin and Devon Vele.
Yeah.
Marvin Mims and Little Jordan Humphrey. So this kid's getting a starting slot whenever he's available.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. So good for him.
Yep.
This is a kid that could be something with Bo Nix over time. Who knows, right? Yeah. This is a shot in the dark that seems to be getting some traction. Let's see if it keeps going. So not a bad start. Yeah, not a bad start. And I see you're going to start DeAndre Hopkins. Think he's actually going to play?
I think he will. Because it said he was. Did he practice today?
Couldn't have practiced today.
Well, maybe not. I'm hoping. I'll keep an eye on him. And see what his status becomes. I think whoever they got, if their guy is available to start, and Mahomes will try to feed him the ball to see if there's chemistry.
To see if there's something there, yeah.
See if the hands are still there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm banking on Tua to have a big game.
Yeah, with Tyreek.
With Tyreek. Get both him and Waddle. Just get the ball down the field to these guys. And get back to what Miami was like at the beginning of the year and the end of last year. So that's why I pivoted away from Stroud. I know Houston is going against a weaker team in Indy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Mahomes might have a better week. Other than that,
you're really gambling with Mahomes. Mahomes is currently ranked 22 overall.
Yeah.
Versus CJ Stroud, who's ranked 12th.
Yeah. But I just if Mahomes can have like 3 or 4 30-point games, he's gonna start. He'll climb back into the.
Yeah, but if he can have it, it doesn't look like he can have it, right? That's the struggle. He has only broke 20 points once this season. Now he hasn't hurt you. The lowest he's earned is 14 points, but that's not winning you a week. That's not helping
No,
you elevate
it's
you
not.
over the top.
It's not.
Yeah.
No.
So I to be honest with you, I think Stroud is probably the higher upside play because he's actually been able to do it this year.
True. I just, I got to take the gamble. I got to.
Okay.
It can't hurt me, right?
No, it can't hurt you. I
It's
just
not
don't think
gonna.
it's
It's
going to
not. It's not
help
like,
you.
oh my God, it's gonna take me out of the playoffs.
Now, on the opposite side, you are facing a bit of an uphill battle because you've got Jalen Hurts versus Cincinnati, Derrick Henry versus Cleveland. You've got Chuba Hubbard versus Denver. That one's probably not going to pan out so well. Tutu Atwell, probably not going to pan out so well either if Cooper Kupp comes back. Devontae Adams, who might be absolutely washed because his quarterback sucks.
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson, which might have a good game. Jacoby Myers, which is kind of like the only receiver in town, but he's still limited and not guaranteed to play this week.
And a different quarterback.
No, it's Gardner Minshew, so he's back to where he started.
Yeah, but well, he's had the other quarterback for a few weeks, and now also he's get somebody different again. So, yeah.
So Tank Dell, who's hot and cold this season. Let's see what happens there. And then Jalen Waddle, which is fully dependent on Tyreek Hill, right? So not Tyreek Hill, Tua. So he's literally got Jalen Waddle in his last flex spot, which is where you've got Tyreek Hill. So it's Jalen Waddle versus Tyreek Hill, and I love seeing that.
That wasn't
intentional.
Together. That was not intentional.
No, not intentional, but just like, oh, that's funny. Let's see who's better here, Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill. Yeah. Because looking at the record, you're 1-6, and Juan is 2-5. Yeah. So this is an important win that you need to go and get, and you are 20 points behind ish on projections.
Yeah,
so tough.
And then also, like when you look at the standings,
it's only one spot ahead of you.
But what's my points for? Doesn't have this.
Not very high.
551. He's 685. So even if I beat him, he's still ahead of me on the points for. So.
You know what? I'd also like to point out in your favor, you have gone against people on their best weeks. You currently hold the most points against at 809.
Yeah.
Whereas the Slick currently holds the least. So his 5-2 is a bit kind of like how Donnie was so successful last year. When you go against teams who don't put up a lot of points, 601 is his score. It's easy to get.
It didn't hurt him that I only put up 30 points against them.
True, right? That's probably a good chunk where that chunk comes from. Whereas the average, it looks like, is around 750, where most of us are sitting at, and you're sitting at 809. So you've definitely felt the brunt of people scoring hard.
And you know what? Everybody goes through this in leagues. Got to make sure I don't do it for too long.
All right. Well, I am going to pick Juan this week because I think Derrick Henry is going to just eat that up. And then, are you going you? Are you going to pick yourself?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Throw some karma your way? Okay. There we go. Let's talk about matchups.
Now, if I can win, if Slick beats you and I beat Juan, that gives me 2 games on you.
Man, you're back at this again, hey? All right, well, let's talk about matchup number 3, where we got Chervin versus Bryce. This is a 3-4 Chervin against Team Bryce 2-5. I imagine you're cheering for Chervin here to try and keep Bryce close to you, so you have a chance of climbing out of this, this spot.
No, I'd actually pick Bryce in this one.
Oh, really? Okay, well, let's have a look. Yeah. We've got Chervin is coming in with Baker Mayfield, Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, loving that. He's got Chris Godwin still in his lineup. I imagine he'll swap that out at some point. Yeah. He's got Malik Neighbors, Kyle Pitts, Jameson Williams, which he's going to have to swap out as well. Yeah. Then Christian Kirk and Brandon Ayuk. And then he's going to have to swap out Brandon Ayuk. Oh, that's 3 players. Does he have 3 guys to swap in?
No. He's got Madison.
Oh, he's got DJ Moore. That's 1.
Madison Moore, and I saw a Jennings.
He plays. If John Weddings did not participate today. He's got Jalen Tolbert. Yeah. So that's 2. So you could put Jalen Tolbert in. Jalen Hyatt. Josh Palmer, maybe?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is.
It's going to be tough for him. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. I guess he could put in Alexander Madison in a flex spot as the starting running back for the Raiders against the Chiefs. That's not great, but at least it's a start.
Well, it'll be better than 0 points.
It'd be better than 0 points, which is he's got 3 players about to give him 0 points.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on the other side, Bryce is rocking Josh Allen, Devon Achane, Aaron Jones, Devontae Smith, Jordan Addison, George Kittle, a lot of Georges. My goodness.
Yeah.
George Pickens, James Cook. Well, he's got to swap out Deebo Samuel because I doubt Deebo's going to play this week.
Correct.
Is back with Wednesday, doesn't practice. Does he have a pivot option? Nick Chubb.
Yes.
Nick Chubb. He could go Calvin Ridley because Calvin Ridley's the only receiver in town now.
Or Leggett.
Oh, I could go. No, because that's Bryce Young's at QB.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's got Kadarius Toney still on his roster? Look at that. Gross.
He's saving him for a big playoff comeback.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so he does have some. He does. Yeah. You know what? Let me look here. I want to see. So that is 0, 0, 0. What happens if I put in? So there's 8. There's 11. So that's 19. I can get to 25. Does 25 make it?
That only gets you to
95. That still gets into Bryce. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'll pick Chervin to be different.
All right.
Let you go, Bryce.
And you might be the only one that gets it right.
Maybe, yeah. Donnie picked Bryce and Gabriel picked Bryce. So definitely leaning that direction. I'm going to give Chervin the benefit of the doubt here that he will come back in time, set his roster ahead of tomorrow night's matchups, and might be able to squeak out this win because there are some questionable guys on the other side. Not really, just Jordan Addison doesn't usually deliver on his projections. But everybody else is usually pretty good. Josh Allen, Devon Achane. Yeah, that's... Whew. Okay. Let's look up the next matchup. That is Donnie versus Marvin. Now, this is a good one because Marvin's on a bit of a hot streak. He's 5-2, is currently leading the league. Donnie's not far behind. He's still in the playoff hunt. He's sitting at 3-4. This is how the matchup is looking. Donnie's got Matt Stafford, Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Brian Thomas, Jerry Jeudy, Evan Ingram, Troy Franklin, Rashad White, and Bijan Robinson. On the bench, usually he's got nothing, but now he's got Cedric Tillman and Demario Douglas, which didn't really pan out last week. Khalil Shakir. I think Khalil Shakir you can probably put to bed now that Amari Cooper's in town.
Yeah, I think all the love is going to go to Cooper as well.
But... Okay, so it does look like Donnie's playing his best roster, currently sitting at 103. And then we've got on the other side, we've got Marvin playing Joe Burrow, Tank Bigsby. Oh, wow, Tank Bigsby had a good game last week against New England. All right, so Tank Bigsby, he's got Josh Jacobs, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Cole Kmet, Jonathan Taylor. Is Jonathan Taylor going to play this week?
That's a tough one. I don't think he practiced today. Or he was limited in practice today.
It was limited.
But it's an ankle injury, so...
Practiced.
How well is he going to be able to get off the ball, right?
So that means he's already missed he's missed 3 weeks. This would be his first week back in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If he does play, it's J.K. Dobbins and Amon St. Brown. Oh, man,
it's a killer lineup.
Rough. Yep. Yeah.
If he has to sit Taylor, he doesn't. Well,
DK Metcalf, if his injury will not practice Wednesday or Thursday. Okay, so he's probably not going to play.
Pearsall
could
maybe.
Do Rome Odunze.
Yeah, or Pearsall because
Ricky Pearsall
has nothing.
Yeah. How in the world did Marvin end up with Rome Odunze? He somehow traded for the 103. That's ridiculous. Yeah, no, man. I want to cheer for Donnie because I want to make sure that we stay closer together to give the rest of us a chance to get back in this, but that's tough. Yeah, I go Marvin on this one. You go Marvin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let's see the hot man himself, Mr. Little Baby Sheep Man, going off against another 5-2 team. Josh, the guy who thought he was going to be out for the season earlier on, is now in it for the hunt, 5-2. So, Little Baby Sheepman, Lamar Jackson, Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers, Amari Cooper, Rashad Bateman, Marvin Harrison Jr. Wow.
Good lineup.
It's a very good line. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And there's no one better on the bench. Josh has got Geno Smith, Jordan Mason, DeAndre Swift, Drake London, Zay Flowers, David Njoku, T. Higgins, Brian Robinson, Cooper Kupp. Oh, ooh, that's...
Again, they're both very solid lineups, and
yeah.
The only one that could get subbed in is Brown for Cincinnati, but I don't know that he'll even do 9 points against Philly's defense. So that might be a tough one.
Yeah.
Eckler? No, probably
no. That's a high risk play, I think.
They were talking about Dowdle. What's his face there in Dallas wants him to get the ball more.
Okay.
McCarthy says Rick Dowdle needs to touch the ball more.
All right.
So
well, if you coming
off the bye week, maybe they force feed him in the first half just to see what he's got left, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is wild, man. I'm not sure where this is going to go. I think if you got
matchup.
Like there's some pivot options on either side of the ball. I love how in this matchup he's got Rashad Bateman versus Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
T. Higgins versus Jamar Chase.
I think I'm going to go with the upset and go Josh.
And go Josh?
Yeah.
Okay, Josh. Well, I'm going to take the little hanging fruit here by the looks of it and go Little Baby Sheepman to be different.
Wow, you and I are going to be in big trouble, I think. One of us is in big trouble.
Yeah. Unless we go 3-2 and 2-3.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Right? Like that's totally an option here. But yeah, it's pretty wild, the possible selections. Well, good stuff. It's going to be some good matchups. Looking forward to it. Now, let's get to this week's bets. Now, last week's bet was my choice. I did a players over 30 selection. For me, Kirk Cousins, Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, even with the injury, Stephon Diggs, George Kittle, and Evan Ingram got out the win. I beat Andrew 67.38 to 44.78.
My two Miami guys as a result, sat on the sideline drinking coffee and eating popcorn.
They were waiting for this week to go off.
Yeah.
Now, it's your turn to place a bet. You've got something very creative here, a spin-off of something else we've done.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I deem this one is how well can you predict? So we're each going to pick a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. They all must be the starter for their team.
Yep.
We're using the poor man scoring system, and how many points we will project how many points that we think the player will get. So, for example, if I take Geno Smith and I think he's going to get 18.69, we'll see what he gets.
Mm-hmm.
If you were right dead bang on of his score, you get a -3 to your final total. If you were off by 0.01 to 499, you take a score of 1. If you are off by 5 to 999, you get a score of 2. If you're off by 10 to 1499, you get 3. 15 to 1999, 4. And if you totally blow it and you're off by more than 20 points, you take 8 points. So you want to have as close to what your projection is going to be. Lowest score wins. It's like your golf thing from a few weeks ago. The lowest score is the one that gets it.
Okay, so the goal here is to be plus or minus.
It doesn't matter if you're plus or minus whatever.
You want to be within that plus or minus of 4.99. Because if you are, you get 1.
You only get 1
chances
point,
of being and you want to be the lowest scorer of the week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're hoping each of your picks or projections
is
$4.99 or less. The price is right.
Yeah, closest within wins both showcases.
Yeah.
Showcase showdown.
Okay, so Me being the loser of the week, I guess I get to pick first.
Yeah.
I am going to go, pardon me, projections, all players. I'm going to look at quarterbacks first. And you know what? Because I'm going out on a limb with him, I am going to pick um, Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
Yes. And I'm going to say he gets 21.29.
So your QB is P. Dot
Homie.
Mahomes, and you're projecting
20,
21.09?
49.
49.
Yeah.
Okay. P. Mahomes. Let's see if I can get that to fit. There we go. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. So Patrick Mahomes at 21.49. This is going to be, bear with me, folks. I'm definitely going to be roughing it here as I think of players I might want to grab. And I have a strategy. I am definitely thinking of specific players that. All right, here we go, folks. My first selection is going to be running back.
Okay.
And that's going to be James Conner.
Nice.
My projection is going to be 15 points even.
15 even.
15 even, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one. I'm going to take, I think, a wide receiver. I'm worried about that one. I don't like his matchup. I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb.
Your first wide receiver is going to be CeeDee Lamb.
I'm going to put him at 15 even as well.
15 even, eh? Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah?
I almost threw in another touchdown there, but no, I'll go 15. Man, that guy better not get 2 touchdowns.
Okay. I don't think I can go there. Yeah. I think that's the right matchup here. Maybe not. Maybe not. No, that's they're going against a cream puff team. Ooh, risky business. You know what? I'm going to go running back Tony Pollard for 8 points.
8 points. Okay.
He's going against Detroit. So I think it's safe. He's probably going to be kept under 10.
Because they're going to have to throw a lot because they're going to be behind a lot.
Yeah. So if he keeps him under 10, then 8, a swing of 5 either direction, that's 3, that's 13. I think that's in the range of outcomes. So Tony Pollard.
And thank you for not taking the sun god himself. I'll take Mr. St. Brown.
By all means.
Because I think they're going to destroy Tennessee.
Yeah, which means it won't be a passing game.
I think he's going to get all the points in the first half, and I'm projecting him at 20.31.
20.31. That's a very precise number.
Yes. Right now he's projected at 14. I'm projecting him to get a second touchdown.
Okay. All right. Well, my first wide receiver is going to be Drake London.
Okay. Not a bad pick against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Against Tampa Bay, yeah. Looking at what he can do, I figure I could. I'm going to park my butt right at 15 points again.
Okay. Not a bad pick. What's the asterisk mean beside the guy's name? I don't know what that means. I'm going to go Kyron Williams.
Okay.
And I think he's going to have a little bit of a tougher time. So I'm going 10.23.
Williams, 10.33.
Yeah. Again, that 3 or 4 points, that window, I think will help me on that one.
I'll have to change a quarterback for that guy. I'm not sure I'm too keen on it. He's injured. Ooh, that's all over the map for that guy. Yeah. Let's see what this guy can do. And yeah, well, I'm going to go Michael Pittman.
You're showing the love.
Knowing who his quarterback is, I suspect he's going to get a certain amount of targets. He's going to fall within a certain range, and I'm going to put him at 9 points.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. I think that might be a little high, but I'm going to go 9 points.
A little bit high. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Michael Pittman doesn't do well with Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson can't throw the ball 5 yards. He can throw it 80, but he can't throw it 5.
Yeah, but if he breaks one for a touchdown, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, it's possible. He's broken off for a touchdown, but In those games, he scored a touchdown. He's only had 35 yards.
Yeah.
So I'm going for here. All right, Michael Pittman. So that leaves me a quarterback and a tight end. You need another running back and a tight end.
Yeah. I got my running back. Go King Henry.
You're gonna try and pick Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And predict how he's gonna run. All right, let's see it.
I'm going to project him at 14.5.
What? You're gonna pick Derrick Henry at 14?
Yeah. 14 and a half.
Even
Sorry.
14.5. Okay, 14.5. All right. 14.5.
He's projected to get 50.
Yeah. Do you know what he's averaged? I'm just curious. Do you know what he's averaged though?
10, 16, 29, 33, 16, 25. You know what? I'm going to bump him up a bit.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. I'm going to put him at 20.5.
That is a big bump. That is a 6-point bump.
Well, a touchdown, right?
Yeah, okay.
I'm projecting
20.5
100 yards and well, no,
okay.
Just under 100. Well, maybe he'll get 100 yards and well, we'll see.
All right.
This could be like guy that I lose 20. I'm out by 20 points.
Yeah,
If
it
he
could.
goes off, he gets 40, 41, 40.6.
Yeah, that's gotta pick a tight end now. And then a quarterback. I'm probably gonna pick tight end and then come back to just trying to see. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Pat Freiermuth, if I could spell his name. E-R Muth. Pat Freiermuth, and I'm gonna say 7 points.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe not 7. I'll go 6. No, because it's plus or minus. Yep. I'll stick with the 7. Sorry. All right. Your tight end.
Okay. I'm going to go Brock Bowers, and I'm going to do him at 12.5.
12 points.
I mean, interesting.
Yeah, I just need to pick a quarterback here. That guy's all over the place. Jeez. Actually, quite a few of these quarterbacks are all over the place. It's not a lot of consistency. Those guys aren't playing, so I'm going to go back up here. Who is he playing this week? Ooh. You know what? I'm going to go with Geno Smith.
Okay.
Geno Smith has been averaging, I lost my spot. He's been averaging 18.2 points a game.
There you go.
18, yeah, plus or minus. What's his peak? What's his floor? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give him 19 points. Plus minus, I guess I'm down. Yeah, 19. I am curious, what strategy did you deploy in your selections?
Of my players?
Yeah, selecting your players.
Just kind of the matchups they had and how many points I thought the player would get.
Okay.
Based on who they were facing.
I was actually pretty nervous of going that route because of what could happen based upon defenses and other effects of hey, game flow, running backs, wide receivers. If I'm down, then my wide receivers need to go. I tried to pick teams that have been consistent in their usage regardless of game script. So whether you're winning or losing, what does your team do? So that's why I picked Geno Smith. Is he throws about the same amount of passes every game. Yeah. Has a completion percentage. James Conner runs the same amount of routes, gets as many handoffs. Tony Pollard, same deal. Drake London, Michael Pittman, and Pat Freiermuth. They try to find those guys that were consistent week to week and then use that 4.99 buffer to say, hey, if I am plus or minus 4.5, either way, I could fall within that 1 point. So I'm projecting my final score to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To have a final score of 6.
Okay.
And I do like how you picked. You had 21.49, 10.33, 10.50. It's now I got to do real math to figure out the scoring when we do the comparison. Yeah. That's a good bet, man. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
It's going to be fun. Well, that's it. That brings us to this week's end of this week's episode. Thank you very much for sticking around with us tonight, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoy doing it. Remember, it's all for the its and giggles of it all. And if you like the show, give us a review. Let us know. Give us some feedback. Hit us up. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Portman Football, all one word. Come back next week as we actually hit the official halfway point of our football season. We're going to be doing the week 9 halfway point talk, league standings. Are you in? Are you out? Our trade deadline is coming up here soon. If I'm going to correct me if I'm wrong, I believe our trade deadline is week 13.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. So it's coming up. Some definite important matchups for a few guys to either determine whether you're in or you're out. Yeah, putting it out there. All right. Well, it's been fun. You guys have a great night. Andrew, you enjoy your night, man. We will see you Friday. Costumes and beers, buddy.
Yes. What are you going?
It's going to be a good time. I am a strip of bacon.
That's right. You were telling me that. Yes.
Yeah. My wife and I and some other friends are going as a BLT rep.
Yes. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. If all else fails, I do have my Rebel X-Wing flight suit.
Oh, so you could go as a Rebel X-Wing pilot or Top Gun.
Well, I can't go as Top Gun. It's a bright orange jumpsuit with like the stuff. I can actually go to X-Wing. What I'm missing is the X-Wing helmet.
Oh.
Really sells the costume. All right, man. You have yourself a good night. Remember, from one poor man to another, if it's not fun, it is not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Have a great week, everybody.